I'm going to start this with, I guess it's easier said than done to run a company. I have a bunch of notes here, and thank you guys, first of all, for all of you guys popping in the live stream earlier. Over 400 of you guys jumping in the live earnings call that I streamed for AMC. Basically, I had a long day. It was a busy day. I'll explain that later. But AMC is down 8.62% on the day, and I'm looking at this from a totally neutral perspective. We're going to bring you everything that there is to cover right now, and I'm going to try to make it fast, quick, and to the point, okay? Uploading this kind of late at night. If this goes up right away, hit the like button. It's free. Subscribe to the channel. Let's get into it. AMC down 9% on the day. What happened during the earnings call? Thankfully, that 428 support level held once again. We dipped below, came back up, and now we have this faint resistance at 462 on AMC. That will be the temporary resistance for the time being. This is also a wedge with a flat top on the 1 minute time frame. Doesn't really matter. Overall, AMC's barcoding is not something we want to see. It is being controlled by market makers, which we're about to get into. So Q4 full year 2023 report. In 2023, total revenue soared by 23% to 4.81 billion, while the net loss significantly improved by 577 million to 396.6 million. Adjusted net loss also saw a remarkable improvement of 409.1 million compared to 2022. What does this all mean, right? EBITDA surged by 379.2 million in the fourth quarter alone. Revenues grew by 11.5%, reaching 1.1 billion, with a net loss improvement to 182 million. Adjusted net loss also improved by 34.3 million, and adjusted EBITDA spiked by 193% to 42.5 million. The company's cash and cash equivalents at the end of 2023 stood at $884.3 million. Congratulations, stockholders and AMC theaters. When we experience a lack of movies due to COVID, the SAG, and the writer's strike, we are strengthening the financial sheet. Imagine our performance in Q2 when the movie slate returns. This is the market's most undervalued firm. Cheers to all of you. Stock price is set by market makers. They are confined to their short positions. Therefore, they are unable to allow Adam Aron to raise funds. Recognize your worth and what you possess. Now, I think there is some reality to this, and as of right now, we can see it in broad daylight. AMC after market close was already pricing in some sort of negative move, and at that point we couldn't really figure out whether to get in or out, as at least for options, right? AMC, Adam Aron himself, has said he reached out to the NYSE and relevant authorities concerning issues like FTD, synthetic shares, as well as the threshold securities list, okay? However, no action has been taken. Additionally, AMC emphasized their primary focus is on operating movie theaters, not regulating markets. Adam Aron also announced his compensation will be going down 25% from the previous year, and it may be going down even more following that. He also said he hasn't sold a share, with the exception of vested shares sold to pay his taxes in the last 25 months. In quotes, I ride with you. In quotes, we are in this together, you and I, and we are all smiling into the next year. A couple other things before I give you my take. One thing Adam Aron said was AMC won't be spending hundreds of millions to make a movie, but we'll look at lower cost films that they could get and show their theaters and hopefully others. Roblox is the first thing that comes to mind. Guessing we will see some sort of distribution of smaller films or production of smaller films around the corner. He also said sports again to getting more content. He also talked about merch in 2023 selling $54 million worth, which is the first number that we believe he has said about this. Alright guys, let's come into the notes. Coming at this from the most neutral perspective, AMC has had a solid earning. Fundamentals are doing well. Everything basically fundamental-wise was positive. Adam Aron quoted several times, cash is king. He praised Beyonce. He praised Taylor Swift. He also said he assumes the box office will grow a couple billion at least in 2025. So that is positive. That's not necessarily only positive for AMC, but movie theaters as a whole, if that is the case. Basically, looking at my notes here, we could cover more of the financials, but we basically covered almost everything. Adam Aron, he said before the earnings call he has much to say. What did he have to say? What did he have to comment on, and what is the outlook? First of all, he comments on issuing APE units, and then he comments on the threshold list. So he says, issuing APE units, we raised this much money. Without raising this much money, we'd basically be toast. And then he talked about the threshold list, how he contacted them but got no response. And then he talked about how retail shareholders attack him on Twitter, saying that he's evil, he works with the hedge funds, he's, a sue, he's sabotaging the share price, yada, yada, yada. Then he covers how he owns stock, right? And then he covers how box office is picking up soon. He covered his share stock losses, compensation reduction, and then house wine, house beer, and some other stuff, right? Now, from a basic perspective, issuing APE units. You would come out and say, okay, first of all, completely neutral. I'm not bashing Adam Aaron. I'm not agreeing with him. I'm going to give you a neutral perspective right now. It's hard to run a company. He's trying to run a company. Issues APE units under ticker symbol APE. Basically, in my opinion, personally, tricking shareholders, or obviously we're going to be attracted to that ticker APE, right? And says, hey, here's a dividend, right? It wasn't a dividend. This was, derived from the original share price of AMC. It cut your share price and then it put it into a separate ticker. Nothing was a dividend. Then this was diluted basically to thin air, and it was diluted at a very, very small price. This is where the question lies. Well, why'd you sell at that price? Why'd you dilute at that price when you could have raised more cash? Why did you even do this and call it a dividend? Why was this, and why was this, that? Okay, so I'll leave those questions to the side. Then you come over and you say, okay, Adam Aaron, this guy contacted the threshold, about the threshold list. He contacted the regulators and he hasn't gotten a response. That you can't help with, right? At least he has contacted them. This is a positive note. We'll put that aside as well. Then you ask, okay, well, Adam Aaron's a good guy because he has not been selling shares of AMC. But as a shareholder, you ask, why hasn't he been buying shares of AMC with his own cash? Oh, he only sold for tax reasons, and then the last time he sold was January of 2022. These are facts. And after all this time, why has he not purchased with his own money? I'll leave that aside as well. Yes, he's taking a compensation cut. This is a positive thing. Shareholders are like, okay, well, he's a good guy. He's taking a compensation cut. We'll put that aside as well. Then the question lies, well, hang on. He's still making tens of millions of dollars, but there's not action that we want to see being taken, right? That aside as well. You come to a neutral standpoint once again. Is Adam Aaron not necessarily a suit, but is he doing everything in his power to do what shareholders want? And the answer, in my opinion, is no. The answer is no, but he is doing what he can to run a company in his own words as well, right? He is running a company. He's trying to get the fundamentals better, and that is basically it. Now, the caveat here is that it seems like he's going to dilute us more, which is not a good thing to see because he says multiple times, cash is king, cash is king, cash is king. And then he says, do the math. In other words, we might be diluting soon. We might be fucked if we don't. Another thing I noted that he said, and I took this one way, let me know if you took it a different way. He says, box office, March is about to start. And for the rest of the year, box office should pick up for the rest of the year. In other words, Q1's going to suck. That's what I got out of it. So he's saying, hey, listen, after March, box office is going to do well, but when we report for Q1, because that was Q4 earnings report, it's going to suck. It's going to be dukes, right? Other than that, guys, if we take a look at the chart, it's down bad. You come over, you take a look at the 4-hour time frame, the most previous earnings, flash down, flash down, flash down, flash down. It's not much of a surprise. It is a surprise based off of what we're tracking, and I don't think we're going to stay here. In tomorrow's update video, I'm going to cover that. I'm going to cover it on the daily time frame and all that good stuff, but this one's going up late. We had a lot of stuff to cover, a lot of stuff to talk about. Overall, as per usual, I'm kind of disappointed. I guess it's all right. I'm disappointed in the fact that we have to wait, and the fact of the time frame, and the fact that he says he has much to say, but he didn't announce a share count, or he didn't say that in his personal opinion the stock price is manipulated, or in his personal opinion he sees evidence of synthetic shares or anything like that. Another thing I'm surprised about, put the notes away real quick, is GameStop didn't really get as much of a sympathy move as I thought. It's down 1%, while AMC is down almost 10. So that's interesting as well, holding up against the macro trend line. I like to see that. We knew coming into today AMC had a bunch of shares to drop on it. For exempts, they died down over the past 5-6 days, so they could have power to drop it, and that's essentially what we saw. I also found something interesting, that Vanguard owns 20 million shares plus as of the latest filing, and only 67,000 are of voting power, meaning, about 20,120,000 shares are for lending reasons, loaned out. Retail just continue to bring the facts, and that's basically it. Ran by market makers. If you want to screenshot this is the quarterly report, the earnings. A beautiful report, I must say. We're moving money in the right places, we're gaining cash, etc., etc. I also saw, last sprinkle on top, Mara dumped on earnings, down 11%. So the trading challenge we definitely got stopped out at. We had a stop at 28.51. You can see we dipped right to that. Basically it, guys. That's the earnings call. Let me know what you think about it in the comments down below, and shout out to 400 and somewhat of you guys jumping into the live stream earlier. Make sure to get in the Discord, guys. I'm in there on the daily. Come talk with me after this video goes up. We have options trading alerts in there. We talk stocks all day long, post our gains, post our losses, etc., etc. And it's a coffee a month. It's a cheap Discord. Come talk with me. If you want up to 15 free stocks, use my link. Sign up for Moomoo. It's at the top of the description. Once you open an account and deposit even a penny from your bank account, they're going to start giving you free stocks as well as 8.1% on your uninvested cash for 3 months and then 5.1% for the rest of the year. Overall, guys, very busy day. I woke up, I made the daily upload, and then I went to get a haircut, then I went to the gym, and then I flew to get on the live stream, and that is exactly why the thumbnail is still Bed Bath & Beyond for the live stream earlier today. Even seeing that, you guys all still jumped in, which I do appreciate. That's basically it. Love you all. Lottery Stocks out.